Greetings to members of this group who are farmers and supporters of farmers and farming activities and the backbone of food security in our community. It is my pleasure to share this presentation. And the aim of this is to share our experiences and to put it on record so that we can reflect on the problems and be able to find solutions for the problems together. Long ago, one of our members here made a huge loss after a bumper harvest of hamburger kunde. She could not get a market for her vegetables, and she incurred a massive loss, including the cost of paying people to get the burgers out of the shamba, which she was even giving free. She was giving out free, and she needed to get them out so that she could prepare the farm for the next season. And it was really heartbreaking as a farmer. And so I just thought we could look at this case to express or to highlight profoundly what a farmer can go through, and what then can we as a group that is focused on farming, what measures can we put in place to help ourselves. And so the objective and purpose of this presentation is really to share our experience for all of us to reflect and, as I said, find our solutions. Because if we don't know our problems, then we cannot easily find solutions. But solutions must be found based on the problem so that people can prepare for the future. It's not enough to encourage ourselves to farm large. We must have a market for our products, especially at this time when we're trying to encourage young people to take an active part in farming. I was at the marketing end of this process, and the market is very important, because if you cannot sell your produce, you get discouraged, and it weighs the farmer down and kills your spirit, and it becomes difficult to start again. So overall, it's a negative impact on the food security of the region, and you find that young people run away from farming. So we must put effort in developing all the components of the farmer to consumer buyer chain. It is important to note that one of the problems is that farmers do not plan for the marketing of the product. And I think they should not really be doing that. If you look at the red line, farmer to consumer, it should not happen if we are going to have effective and efficient outcome for our farmers. The farmer should be worried about farming, and somebody else should be worried about taking the products to the market. And so if you look at the chain of the buyer, the agent who takes to the market, we find that this is lacking in our region. there is already effort being made by the marketing sector in this group, Gero group. But there's a whole full infrastructure out there that we as a people need to pay attention to. And that is the middle group of the agent, the wholesaler, the buyer, the value addition, the transportation, the finance. So all these components are important, because if we don't develop them, we will become slaves for others when they come to buy our produce cheaply, and at a throwaway price. So we need to look at this middle component very, very seriously. So we received the kundes in Nairobi, 3 sacks. They were packed in 90 kg bags, dispatched from Siaya. They used public transport from Siaya to Nairobi, and then we had to pick them there and take them to the designated places. This is how the kunde looked like when they came. They were in good condition, fresh, but they had been picked. This was now their second day, I believe. This is what we had to do immediately to prepare them for sale in the evening and first thing in the morning. Some of the things that come to mind here is you're beginning to think of how long will this mboga last? It has to be sold immediately. It has to reach the market. It has to be bought immediately. Otherwise, it is wasted. Also noticed was the waste that came with the mboga. The waste was more than the actual mboga. We looked at the cost. I looked at the cost of getting the vegetable from the shamba, the cost of transporting the bag from Machakos bus station to the point of sale for the 3 bags, and then the cost of handlers for the sale, and so on. And when you look at the cost versus the effort, is it viable? You can see that clearly the transportation cost was too much. There was waste that was transported to Nairobi, which is not economical. The goods are perishable, so there's the hurry to offload, and so there's need for the farmer to plan, and the group needs to pay great attention in opening the minds of the farmers to plan ahead. When we think of solutions to this problem, you can see that perhaps it's better to process the kunde at the farm because labor is cheaper at home, and then if only the actual kunde is transported to Nairobi, then you get more in Nairobi and you leave the waste back home. The other thing that we must look at is value addition to our produce so that they can last longer. Then we are not hurrying to offload our goods at perishable prices, And when we do that, we find that maybe we can develop cottage industries at the village level. So these are some of the process of value addition. So this is just some of the processes that the kunde has to go through at the farm. When it is picked at the farm and it is clean and not stained, then even the process of washing is not necessary. It can be dried directly. Lay out the mboga in the sun, the God-given sun, and after 2 days you can see that your mbogas are drying out beautifully. This is the final product, and you can see that half a sack of kunde has been reduced to a small kikapu of freshly dried kunde that can keep for 2 years actually. That is the product, the very final product, and it can be the beginning of better things when we learn to add value to our products so that we are not rushing them to the market to get low prices. So thank you so much for listening to this, and I'm waiting for feedback on this issue, and I hope that it will form some discussions around the many things that we're doing. Thank you so much for listening.